we're live right now, so I'll be right back.
What is going on, everybody? We are live match call. I'm here with Nathan and my man Ben. You guys are new to Ben. You guys don't know Ben, but you're going to know Ben by the end of the call. Guys, we're going to be talking about free skip tracing. Is it a real thing? Is this a myth? We're going to dive in. We're going to show you guys how to do it. What's up, Nathan Valley? What's up, Ben? How you guys doing?
What's going on, gang?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. A pretty nice day today.
Yeah, man. You look great. You look good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, the lighting's making me look awesome.
Yeah, it's good lighting for sure. So guys, just so you know who we are, so you know, like if there's even a reason to listen to us about our credibility. My name is Nathan Payne. I've been in the business for about 7 years, done hundreds of deals, and I help people do deals. That's what I like to do. And I live in Canada, so I do deals remotely, well, virtually, and that's what I do. Nathan Valley, who are you?
Yeah, I'm an American. I'm
American.
I'm just, I like to make jokes. So, guys, my name is Nathan Valley. Been wholesaling for about 4 or 5 years. Man, probably more like 5, 6 now. But man, done a lot with wholesaling. Done a bunch of deals, bunch of different states. Big thing is virtual wholesaling. Known for locking up over 100 contracts in a single year. Some of you may have seen a 30-day challenge I did a while ago, to where I picked a totally brand new market, no contacts, no resources, nothing, and did a $20,000 deal in 30 days without spending any money on marketing. And which is kind of what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. You know, might have to redo that challenge, testing out batch and kind of the cool new features and stuff they got going on. Yeah. That's a little bit about me. Ben, why don't you introduce yourself? How about you?
Who am I?
Who on earth is Ben?
Who am I? My name is Benjamin. I've been in the real estate industry for about 4 years now, since I was 15, so I'm 19 now. I primarily run a marketing agency for wholesalers, where we primarily do the inbound marketing side. And I'm pretty much known for being able to generate over $15 million in assignment fees for wholesalers over the last 4 years. We've worked with some big influencers like Brent Daniels to run their inbound marketing campaigns. And then on the side, I do flips with a few partners I have, and private money lending just for fun.
Love it, man. So guys, one thing you'll notice is being able to do outbound, inbound is the key, right? But we believe it's in succession and progression, right? Like if you just start immediately, like spending all your money on pay-per-click, you might not be in a position to even convert those leads. So what we do is we want to take it piece by piece, but we also want you to get to know awesome guys like Ben. So when you are ready, you know where to go. So Ben, were you going to say something? I don't remember.
No. I absolutely agree with what you've said. Going to inbound marketing is like almost a step up. And for me, my recommendation is like from 0 to like 2 deals per month, inbound or outbound marketing, where that's cold calling, skip tracing, pulling lists, etc. That's where it's best suited for beginners, right? Because you want to learn the skills, you want to have your contracts in place, you want to be able to have a solid sales process. With outbound leads, where they're a little bit lower intent. And then if you're able to actually close those deals, once you pivot from outbound marketing to inbound marketing, it's going to be a night and day difference. And that's going to be what's taking you from 2 deals per month to 10 to 15 to 20 deals per month and beyond.
Love it. I agree. And I honestly and obviously there's people out there that just scale up their outbound marketing. They just get way more cold callers, way more mail. It all works. But what we want to do is we want to talk directly to the people who are kind of getting started. And they're like, well, Nate, this is all great, but how do I get free skip tracing? And how do I get my first deal without spending really any money? That's like who we're talking to today. So Nathan Valley, you want to kind of tell them what's going on with batch leads right now?
Yeah, man. And I'm still learning kind of all the details with it. So, I know we talked about this recently, but it like right now it is an absolutely crazy time because getting started with real estate and real estate wholesaling, right? Being able to source and find your own deals and then make a profit off selling those deals. It's never been more accessible than ever as to right now. So batch leads, and correct me and fill in kind of the pieces that I'm missing, but so they just came out. One of the major expenses is they've got this amazing tool to where you can find off-market properties with all these different, conditions that, attribute to motivated sellers. And it's amazing for finding off-market deals. But one of the major expenses that, all three of us here kind of know about or familiar with is skip tracing. Right now, skip tracing, if you haven't done too much of it on face value, it may seem like, it's not that much, because skip tracing, which is where, okay, I've got an address of a motivated seller, but now I need to get the phone numbers that's associated with that address so I can call the seller or text them or whatever. Well, there's a small fee to that. And normally it's been, depending where you go or whatnot, it used to be around 12, 10 to, we'll say 10 to 15 cents per lead. And you might hear that and say, oh, 10 to 15, I got 10 to 15 cents.
That's right.
But the way wholesaling was done is you were typically doing this for thousands and thousands of records. And that can add up, especially month after month. So batch, and again, that's just another additional expense, especially when you're just getting started. Kind of what Ben was talking about. There's different marketing strategies, but I'm also a big believer in there's a time and a place. Again, going to that 2-3 plus. Going from 3 to 10 deals per month, very different from what do I got to do to get from 0 to 2? Because 0 to 2, one of the most important things, and Ben, you could probably test this too, is before you can get into those more expensive, higher level kind of marketing strategies that might be able to scale maybe a little bit better, you need to first have the skill set of wholesaling. But in order to acquire that skill set, I need to be doing the business. And so back, one of the awesome things they just came out with is they lowered the barrier to entry even more, making it even more accessible, even more affordable. And they did that by free skip tracing. Yes. When you sign up with BAT, and kind of, Nate, you might know some of the details better than me, but my understanding is there's different levels to the accounts, but there's kind of a base plan, like depending on which plan you go to, you have, X amount of free skip trace. And it's not so, I think it was
10,000 on the first plan.
10,000 for like the basic plan or something, which is crazy. I mean, guy, and if you market the way we market, which is extremely niche, we don't even use a fraction of that, with kind of how we go about marketing and targeting sellers. So, for people just getting started, I mean, that's awesome. And then I think on top of that, there's even you get like a free 7-day trial? Or
we have a 7-day. We have a link. If you DM me specifically, or if you join our Facebook group and ask for the link, it gives you access to 7-day free trial, which also enables you to get 100 free skip traces in that trial. So you can basically go on, skip trace the pre-foreclosure list or any of these highly motivated lists, use the AI bot and pick that list and reach out within 7 days and potentially go get a deal. Okay, so it's all for free, without even having to pay anything. It's crazy.
I love that. And Ben, I'd love to get your feedback on this. So when it comes to, okay, great, batch sounds awesome. The free skip tracing, this is amazing. I'm going to go sign up right now. I get a free account. Now what? I'm a big fan, and Ben, I'd love to get your input, kind of your experience of what you've seen with people you've worked with. I'm a big fan of going for really, really, really niche lists. So there's high motivation in the list. But with marketing to them, because it's a much smaller list, I'm a big fan of not just doing one thing, but hitting them from all angles. Yep. So because we have such a highly targeted list, I can spend a lot less on marketing, but I can also have more of an impact because I'm not just pulling a list. I'm not only cold calling. I'm going to call them. I'm going to text them. I'm going to send them a postcard. Just have you seen anything kind of
Yeah.
with the people that you work? And these are kind of
Absolutely.
different. You're more on kind of the pay-per-click.
Absolutely.
online
But the
media.
whole the sort of mantra, the idea, the theme sort of stays the same, right? With outbound marketing where you're targeting like specific lists or whether that's markets, I feel like it resonates into the inbound marketing as well, because the way I look at it, or the way we tell our clients to look at it, is we want to look at it from a holistic point of view, right? Find a list or find a niche, a motivation or a pain point that you serve best. For example, we have some clients that love to deal with divorces. We have some that love to deal with tax delinquents, or some that love to deal with pre-foreclosures or foreclosures, right? In XYZ market. Because the reason why I believe, or the obvious answer as to why they love those markets, is because they can actually close them. Something that I see many wholesalers go into and where they struggle, and maybe this is because of an expectation these gurus set, who knows, right? But nobody makes money on the contract. You make money when the deal actually closes, right? So how do we optimize for that, right? On the inbound marketing side, we all have the generic we buy houses, cash offer for a house. But for us and our clients, we actually go a step further, right? We target people going through foreclosure. We target people that are looking to relocate. So we're creating creatives, which are basically the static images that actually target the image, target the right avatar. In addition to them being in the right markets where the clients like, that actually have a decent population where there is buyer activity there. That way we can actually make sure those deals get to the finish line, basically, right? So if you're starting out, most wholesalers, in my opinion, should focus on deals or focus on getting data that actually they have an interest in a way where they're, I don't know, that they understand, that way they can sell the prospect better, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. That was really good. No, I appreciate it. That was good feedback. So like you
And
brought up like divorce, you brought up like a bunch of motivating factors, right? Like tired
Correct.
landlord, you're talking foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. Like that's exactly right. Like you want to target where there's motivation, not just pull the phone book, right? You can't just pull the phone book and just hope you're gonna win on one of those.
You can get contracts, but how many of them actually go to the closing table?
Right.
Yeah. No, 100%. And really, really big fan of quality over quantity. And so, especially when getting started, one of the easiest ways that you can kind of break in and especially kind of cut through a lot of the competition is if you pick one specific problem and you solve that problem better than anybody else, right? Not just how do I sell my house off market or how do I sell my house for cash? It's pretty broad. But if again, really, really specific problems, right? Going through divorce, pre-foreclosure, could be probate, all right? And there's a million more. But if you just pick, okay, let me focus on this one thing. And if you go deep, there's a lot of details that fall under each one of those things. And if you are better educated and you know how to solve that specific problem better than anyone else that they talk to on the phone, you're going to get that deal.
Correct.
And the nice thing is you're going to know how to get a hold of that person and connect with them better than anyone else. Because if someone is, let's pick anything, for example, if let's say divorce. Well, if everyone's calling a list and they're saying, "Hey, I saw you own this house on 123 Main Street. Would you be interested in a cash offer?" But if they're going through a divorce and you pulled that list specifically because you know that person's going through divorce, what if your message was something along the lines of, "Hey, are you going through a really hard time with your relationship right now? And your house is kind of the biggest thing keeping you up at night, not sure what you're going to do, how you're going to deal with the mortgage. What does this mean with kind of my relationship and where it's going?" Right. And if you speak specific to that problem, who are they going to respond to? It's going to be you. Sure. So, and you're also going to be able to serve that person at a higher level. So that's kind of one thing that I love. And then also to touch on that with when we talk about niche and motivated sellers, because I just remembered a new feature also. Absolutely. Wow. I don't even fully understand how it works, but it's crazy. So with Batch, when you're pulling a list, when you're looking for motivated sellers, we just got a demo of it the other day. I believe it was last week. So there is now a feature. So if I pull up a list in whatever county, and let's say I'm looking for a specific group of people and I put in some filter searches, it's like, okay, my list is is 5,000 or 10,000, whatever. Well, there's a heat meter now that you can kind of drag and say, oh, okay, this list, it's 10,000. I don't want that many people. I'm going to drag up the heat meter. And they kind of have this whole like AI I'm not a tech guy by any means, but they have this whole kind of AI algorithm thing built in to where it will now show you, if you raise the heat meter to the hottest part and you're saying, hey, only show me the hottest motivated sellers on this list, it automatically cuts that list down for you and say, hey, out of this list of 10,000, here's the 500 people that are the hottest, most motivated. And I don't even know how the algorithm works. It takes a whole bunch of other factors into play. But I thought that, and especially for someone like me that is a really big fan of, look, I don't want to waste my time talking to 10,000 people. I don't need to. I just need to talk to the right ones. Or especially if you're trying to break into this and you're just getting started, or you're newer to the business. And it's like, hey, I still work, a part-time job or a full-time job. I don't have, 8 to 10 hours a day to be calling people or doing outreach. Well, great. This is a way to where you can be much more effective with your time. If you only have 1 to 2 hours a few days a week, well, now you can actually make progress, with that little bit of time. So that was something that's cool. Nate, I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
No, man, that's incredible. Cause I used when I first got started, I would pull like 10,000 records. I would pull like 20 and I would just cold call, dial, hammer that thing. And you were just crossing your fingers and hoping you were finding the right person. And you get really discouraged having to go through that many people. So, and not seeing the results you want. So if you can really dial in on the most motivated people and leverage the heat meter, yeah, go for it. That's awesome.
And I'm curious, Ben, for the people, again, you're working more with people that are already doing
a little bit more established. Yeah.
A little bit more established, more consistent, kind of 2 to 3-ish deals per month.
Correct.
That's when you're having that, conversation and helping them get to, 10 plus whatever.
Correct.
For when they have that first conversation with you, what are kind of some of the patterns that you see with, hey, the people that are doing those 2 to 3 deals per month consistently and have kind of been able to get a bit of a foundation under them, what are the patterns that you are seeing them do well? Is it they're consistently marketing, a certain type of way, or is it, they've really kind of developed these specific skills or their sales process or what?
100%. I love that. I think that's an amazing question. I feel like if we had to simplify, it's what makes a client successful with inbound marketing, right? The first thing I believe, the first biggest thing is what markets are you in, right? Because if you're in Cibolo, Texas, and you're running ads at $1,000 a day in ad spend, you're probably not going to get much, right? So the first biggest thing is we want to target metro sort of markets, right? Houston, Miami, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, etc. Right. So I believe that if you're in a good market, you're almost halfway there. Right. The two biggest things that I believe make a successful inbound marketing campaign is markets and ad spend. That's on the media buying side. Right. But in addition to that, now that once we have the leads, you have to have amazing sales process. I refer to it as an ironclad sales process. So that's speed to lead, discovery, offer call, objection handling, and follow-up. Right. And then from there, another big differentiator that separates investors that I speak to from no success with inbound marketing to a lot of success with inbound marketing is a acquisitions team, right? Most of the clients that we onboard already have at least 1 or 2 acquisition managers. And that's sort of a criteria that we set due to the fact that I hate shutting down a campaign that is cranking, performing really well because the client has too many leads. Right.
Yeah.
Another thing is an exit strategy, right? It is my personal belief that going into 2025, if you're just doing wholesaling, you're going to get crushed by the competition, right? Because there's other people doing creative finance. There's other people doing innovations. They're taking it or keeping it as rentals. So having other tools in your pocket makes our successful clients successful because they can do more than just a no obligation cash offer, right? And then most importantly, last but not least, is data. Right? Most wholesalers that I speak to, whenever they start inbound marketing, have the wrong expectations and very bad data tracking, assuming they came from another agency, right? I'll give you an example. in this industry, we're always taught that cost per lead is one of the most important metrics, right? Now, I wouldn't say it's the most important metric, but it is an important metric when it comes to running the ads, right? So for me, when I speak to a wholesaler, you have to know your ROAS and your cash conversion, right? Those to me are the two most important KPIs that we track, right? ROAS is return on ad spend. So if you're putting in $10,000 and you're getting $50,000 back in closed assignment fees, not contracts, but closed assignment fees, meaning money hit your bank, that's a 5x ROAS, right? For us, we typically aim around 3 to 4. Anything above that is obviously net free cash, take it to the bank, right? So those 5 set things, if you want to add another one, it would be expectations, right? Most investors think that you can run ads for 2 weeks, a month even, and have a money printing machine. Here's the thing. You absolutely can. It is absolutely possible, and we've done it very common. It's a common thing, right? But going into it, I would have the expectation that we are trying to build a marketing system that's going to take care of us for the next however many years, right? So having the right expectation, having the right marketing budget set aside to where you can even do something like this is what's going to make a campaign successful, right? Because another thing is, if you're not spending enough money, you're going to get eaten up anyways, right? Because if you're in Houston and you're spending $10 a day on PPC, like it doesn't really matter. You can give them the money. You're not going to get much back, right? So those are the 5 6 that I noticed make it successful.
That's so good, man. A few of those that I want to point out, and guys, I know we were kind of talking a lot about, hey, what does it look like getting into kind of these bigger, online marketing and whatnot for wholesaling, but all of these principles still apply to the outbound side. The biggest one that I talk about a lot is what you had said about market. Whether you're doing online or offline, inbound, outbound, guys, I don't care. When it comes to wholesaling, I don't care how good of a deal you have under contract. If you don't have somebody that is ready, able, and willing to pay you for that contract, you don't make any money. So it is so important. You need to be in a good market. You might have heard this story before, Ben. So, like the godfather of direct response marketing, Dan Kennedy, he was given a presentation on stage one time, and he asked the crowd, he said, hey, if you could open up any hot dog stand and have any competitive advantage, what would it be? And the crowd starts yelling out answers. Oh, I'd want the best recipe for hot dogs. I'd want the nicest hot dog stand. I'd want the best location. And he goes, you're all wrong. He said the only competitive advantage that matters and the only one that you need is having a starving crowd.
Correct.
This was a lesson I learned the hard way with kind of my first wholesaling business, to where I was in a market where there wasn't really a starving crowd. I was getting a ton of deals, and they were smoking deals on paper. But it was in a market to where nobody was really interested in buying them. And that's a big problem. So one of the numbers, and there's some people to where I'll talk to, like, man, Nate, like nothing's, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm being consistent, I'm doing all these things well. And I'm just, man, I don't know what it is. Am I unlucky? Is it this or that? Sometimes it might be your market. You might be in a market to where there isn't, it's not a good market for wholesaling. And the number one indicator for, is it a good market or not? And again, I'm talking for wholesaling specifically, is there investor activity? Right? Are there a lot of flips going on in this market? Are there people buying rentals right? Investor activity is going to be your number one indicator for, is it a good market or not? So that's what you want to look for wholesaling. Again, you want a ton of people that are starving for the deals that you're going to be bringing to the table. Huge, huge, huge. And then I also love how you touched on acquisitions. You talked about them having an acquisitions team, but acquisitions in the sales process, that's one of my favorite pieces. That is so huge. And guys, when you're doing the outbound, I know sometimes you're like, oh man, I just want to pay for inbound marketing and can't all the leads come from me? And all that stuff is good, especially when it comes to scaling. You kind of have to. But especially if you are new, if you are not yet doing 2 to 3 deals per month consistently, and you're trying to get to that point, doing the outbound, handling the calls, getting all those repetitions in, whether it turns into a deal or not, guys, the work works more on you than you do on it. Whether it turns into a deal or not, you are getting more out of it than what is being put in, because you're not only working towards getting, a wholesale deal and being able to do it at really effective costs, but you're also developing your skills the entire time. And that's what we love about Batch is and the new features that came out is because, again, they've opened up that kind of barrier to entry to literally anyone. It's not anybody can step in this game and get started right now. And so now you're able to get started. It's been more, it's more affordable now than it ever has been, right? The tools they're more advanced than ever, and they're not complicated, not at all. And I am not a tech guy. If you guys haven't picked up on that or not, it took me 10 minutes to figure out how to even get on here. But making those calls, having those conversations, putting that work in, whether it turns into a deal or not off the bat, don't get defeated. Don't get disheartened by it. You're building your skills every time. And guys, no matter what happens, whether the game changes, new laws come out, this or that, they can't take the skill sets away from you. And those skill sets you're going to be able to transfer into and carry over into everything else. Whether it's you're doing outbound, whether you switch markets, whether you transition from one marketing strategy or grow into other things like online marketing, pay-per-click, and all that good stuff. Whatever it is, if you have developed and mastered the skill of sales and acquisitions, it's going to be really difficult for you not to do well in this business. So I love that, man. Right market and a good sales process.
No, that's awesome. Well, guys, we've crushed. I feel like we've gone pretty deep. Is there anything else you want to hit on, Nate, before we roll out?
Man, we talked about a bunch of good stuff, but I think that's it. I think it's about all we got for today.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. I got to go. I'm about to go do some Canadian stuff. All right. Catch you guys later.
Wait, now you gotta, what's Canadian stuff?
I have to open up a bank account in Canada, do all this stuff. I just moved here, so I'll be catch you guys.
Go
Thanks
hiking.
for coming on here, Ben.
I
got the family all bumping it, running in here, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Ben, great having you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you soon.